Hello and welcome. Today we are. Oh my God, this is not.
Nope, keep it in. Keep it in.
Oh yeah, let's just go ahead and keep it in. So today we are talking about. God, I'm totally botching this. We are so out of practice. Today we talk about New Year, New Us, Christmas, and a lot of new stuff that's going on this year. All this and more. This is Nerds with Max.
Killed it. Absolutely crushed it.
Oh my gosh, I am so out of. Actually, write out some intros. I just continue to botch. I continue to botch it. But anyways, welcome to this episode of Nerds with Mics. This is episode 166. I'm Travis.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Justin.
Today, we're going to kind of rush through it a little bit. On some time constraints. For some odd reason, my microphone.
Yeah, your mic is.
We'll see how that.
Your mic is not having
it.
Now.
It's switching between two inputs. It seems.
I kept looking at Jared to be like, "Is it just me having the problem?"
I kept looking at you because I was like, "I don't want to say anything while he's talking, just in
case."
It's
been a disaster since we started.
Yeah, this is. I guess that's what happens when I decide I want to record in the mountains, and this is just what we get. So yeah, that's what's happening now because my microphone is just deciding it's going to peace out.
Well, what's
but
weird
anyways,
is it worked fine before we started. It's as soon as we started, it said, I'm gonna get a little silly, and then it just yeah.
I think what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over. So we're gonna start by talking about what we've been up to, and I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to you and Jared while I get that fixed. So over to you.
Sure,
guys.
Give us a thumbs up. No, give us 2 thumbs up when you're ready for us to throw it back to you. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking. All right. All right.
Okay, Jared, one thumbs up. Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah, 1 thumbs up means no. 2 thumbs up means yes. That means something different. I'll have to Google it later. Jared, what have you been up to, my guy?
So this week, obviously, we've gotten a lot of inclement weather where we're from. Travis has managed to avoid that where he moved to.
Fancy city boy up there.
Yeah, no. Well, down there?
Down there. Yeah, you're right. Well, I meant up there because his face is here.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, but his real face is there.
Don't point at your crotch when you say that. Anyways, so this week, Arma Reforger obviously purchased that, and I know you've been taking advantage of that as well. It's one of those games that, when it first came out, definitely didn't receive the best reviews, and I was kind of skeptical because I did enjoy Arma 3 quite a bit. With all the changes we've done to Reforger and just some of the custom map stuff, it's been a lot of fun. Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remaster finally came out. I didn't even realize it came out because I knew they had announced it but didn't even know it was out yet, but we now own that as well, and I can tell you it does bring back memories of my childhood and it is very good so far. Definitely feels a bit sacrilegious playing that on mouse and keyboard. I will say it just does not feel right, especially since I don't have to mash the square button to shoot whenever I'm trying to fight somebody. But other than that, Travis and I talked about it the other day. I don't know if you've played it yet or not, Justin, but Balatro, I've been playing that on both my PC and on my phone. It's a game made by one person that I've now bought twice on 2 different platforms, and I do not regret 1 second of it.
I have a question for you about Balatro. Is I have played it on my phone a lot. Is there any difference between the PC and mobile version, or is it the same game? Okay, perfect.
Same game.
I'll probably just stick with my phone then. I love it. Yeah, Balatro's awesome.
So good. Yeah, like it's such a simple little game that it just. I mean, you still have to think. It's not one of those games you can just shut your brain off and play.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't require as much brain power as what some other games do, which It's nice just to be able to sit there, load in, run a quick hand. Which little tip for you both, if you're playing Balatro, if you haven't turned up game speed in the settings, it is the best thing you ever do because it just makes everything just go so much faster.
I have to do that. Travis, you gave us the 2 thumbs up a minute ago. Do you want to talk about that, or do you just want to do a quick mic check?
No. So yeah, we can talk about Balatro. I do love Balatro. I was not expecting something to be like, oh, let's just take poker and solitaire and mash the 2 together and to have a game that fun. And I tell you, one of the more satisfying parts of Balatro for me is just the collectathon of all the different Joker types and cards and stuff that you can get. Some of them are really cool power-ups. And then just the art style and just the gameplay loop itself is just so simple. And to Jared's point, like being able to jump in for a quick match a couple times before bed and then jump out, like it's one of those things you can just quickly pick up and play, which I like.
You know, where you arrange your jokers at the top of your screen affects how at what point they go off and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, the order and everything. Yeah, it's like it seems so simple, but there's also a pretty deep layer of like, strategy involved with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How you doing with the snowstorm, Jared?
Other than work closing early the past couple days, and like we haven't had any trouble here, like no power outages, stuff like that, which has been super nice considering considering what I'm used to from where I used to live in the middle of nowhere, where my power would have definitely been out by this point.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, wouldn't like yesterday or Sunday and yesterday were awful trying to drive anywhere. Today wasn't too bad. A lot of the stuff's cleared up and stuff like that. But we are supposed to get another snowstorm Friday and Saturday, so that'll be fantastic.
No ice on that one. I think just snow, right?
Hopefully we shall see.
I can handle snow. It's the ice, man.
I went out the other day to get ready, like get my car ready for work, and basically had to peel it because it was snow, ice, snow, ice, snow. So I brushed off the snow, peeled the ice off my car, brushed off the other layer of snow, and then peeled the rest of the ice off my car.
It's funny. My dog, she's like 100 pounds, right? And I'll let her go out in the backyard, to do her business and just to get some, exercise in or whatever. And she's walking on it and she's not falling through because the ice is so tough, right? But she knows like something's up. She's like, what's going to happen? But then like she'll take off and run and she'll just like face plant where like her paws go in too deep and she does sink it. It's hilarious.
Well, it's like our Great Dane Indy. She's like 140 pounds. So her walking out through there, she just breaks through it and she is not a fan whatsoever.
It's pretty nuts. I mean, I'm really glad we didn't lose power. Our street is still pretty much impassable at the moment. But from what I hear around town, it's shaping up nicely. But no school for my kid tomorrow though. No, so that's good for him.
Do you have to go? When do you go back to work?
I have no idea. Probably tomorrow, but they could cancel it tomorrow too. We'll see.
Gotcha. Yeah, the weather here is not bad at all. I mean, it is a little chilly. It's 41, but yeah, there's no snow. Just all blue skies here.
26 here, so not counting the wind chill.
Yeah, that's not great. I would say though, since I moved to Atlanta, November was 2 years, so a little over 2 years. I have barely seen flurries. I'm up in the mountains right now, hoping that I would see some snow up here. It slightly flurried for about 2 seconds yesterday, and then that was it. So
we should make a trip up here this weekend and take it all in.
Supposedly we're supposed to get 6 to 7 inches of snow on Friday, but I'll believe it when I see it because Atlanta is not built for the snow because I think they probably have one salt truck for the entire state down here. So, because they had that big blizzard it was a big ice storm back like I think 5 or 6 years ago, and it completely shut down the interstate and people were stranded on the interstate for like 20 some hours. So you best believe if it starts snowing heavy, down here, I'm just going to stay home and play games. That's what I'm going to do. So.
Oh no, that sounds awful.
It's been awesome.
I know.
It's been really great. We just lost Jared. That's odd.
So awesome. He said, deuces, I'm out.
That was weird.
It really was.
What's happening here?
Did I die? Did we all die? What happened?
It kicked me out also, yeah.
It kicked us out when you came back in as well. When you rejoined is what happened. It pulled us out, which is really weird.
I didn't know.
Yeah, but anyways.
What caused that? Okay.
Yeah. So Jared, you already talked about your week. Justin, did you talk about yours?
I have not. So if you recall the last time I was on the show, which I think you all did one since then, I was replaying through the Last of Us series. Happy to report I did beat The Last of Us Part 2 over the weekend. As I mentioned before we started recording, I am in emotional distress still. It is a game that just like emotionally wrecks you. Can't wait for season 2. They did release another teaser just yesterday for the show, giving an April release month. Like Jared, I've also been playing Arma Reforger. If you didn't know this, Jared, Travis, and I were brothers. So we are on the Steam family plan together. So if
Yeah.
one of us buys a game,
I
we all
hate that
have
our
it.
parents went through divorce and we all ended up in a different house. It's really
I know
terrible.
it's weird. Imagine how cool it would have been had they not done that. But we I booted up Arma Reforger, fell in love with it, but like it was physically taxing my computer. So I bought it on PS5, been playing the crap out of that. I kind of am worried that this game has ruined first person shooters for me going forward.
Is it that good?
Yeah.
It's
Is it more of a
pretty good.
simulation?
It's
Yeah.
more simulation, but
I played Armor. I played the other ones before, but I've not played this new one.
it's
I
all
haven't
custom
played it.
servers. Like people can go in, build their own missions, their own different wars going on, everything.
Maps
And
everything?
matches, like every match I've been in, like you usually jump in the middle, right, of a match. Everyone I've been in has been 6 hours or more. Like by the time it's over, because it'll tell you how
Really?
long the match was. Yeah,
It's like a full on war the entire time because think of it as the objective system is more like Battlefield, but
Yeah.
it's like it's people actually communicating, like counterattacking objectives to take
Capturing
over certain
radio
parts. It's
towers.
so good.
and it's cool because like my friend Greg and I, we've played it the most. We actually got like all of our like gaming friend group in on it, and like we were like going through the woods one night, about to like take over this place. And the next thing you know, like other teams just kind of came in and it was like this organic thing that just kind of happened. It was really cool. You may spend the entire time just taking supplies from base to base and helping out. But it's very much like a war game, not a shooting game,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm fully hooked. I love it. It's just incredible, and it has pretty deep gameplay mechanics. Like I really like Hell Let Loose for the same reason, but it's a much after playing this game, what Hell Let Loose is a much more watered down experience. So like if I'm a medic in Hell Let Loose and you get shot, I'll just apply a bandage and you'll be good to go, right? In this game, if you get shot, I may have to apply a tourniquet first, then do the bandaging, then administer morphine to get you through the pain, and then
wow.
your character will be better.
And you actually have to go in and like inspect for people's wounds. Like before you can even bandage, you have to check them for wounds, and like then when you look around, it'll be like arm, leg, whatever you need to do.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It's pretty insane, and yeah, I'm just really hooked on it. So this is definitely a huge endorsement for Arma Reforger. Jared, I don't know if you've looked at their roadmap, but they have a new map coming. They have destructible buildings coming
Ooh.
and mortars. Also,
I did see the mortars. I did see the mortars.
Are there vehicles?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. A ton. So also, Travis, think about it like the map. When I say the map is huge, I don't mean they're huge like Battlefield. I mean they're huge like Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh wow. Okay.
The map is massive with like cities, and I mean, of course, the cities aren't as detailed as like GTA 5, but there's just a ton of space that you have to cover. It's so good.
That probably means so two questions. I know obviously you're playing on PS5, so this won't apply to you, but number one, does it support Steam Workshop?
Yep.
And mods and stuff. And then also that probably means there'll be some role-playing servers, I assume.
There already are.
Yeah, there are. There's full servers that are dedicated. Like people have went in and like coded zombie AI in it, so you can drop into a server and like you'll get objectives to like go rescue this person from this building in this town. And if you take a helicopter, like the helicopter will draw in zombies and you have to fight them off. And then if you're trying to get out of there, they'll chase you down while you're trying to get on the helicopter.
Okay. Well, shoot, I'll have to check this out. I'll have to buy it so we can play together. I'll probably download it first, try it out first, and then I'll probably buy it. Is it early access, I assume?
I don't think it's early.
No, I think it's full-fledged. It just got really bad reviews there because
when
Arma
it came
3,
out, it was rough.
Yeah, Arma 3, it set the standard for Arma games, and then this one came out and it was really rough around the edges, but kudos to them because they've really cleaned it up.
It's been out for 2 years on PC and Xbox, and both of those have mod support. It just came out on PlayStation like a week or two ago. It does not have mod support yet on PlayStation, but the game is fully crossplay.
Yep.
So yeah, Greg, who's also our brother, which you all know that. Greg's been playing on PC using
the real son of a bitch
Jared's copy, while I've been on PlayStation. Which Greg, I believe, said he's going to buy a copy as well. So we should have a couple extra copies on here. Now he may not, but he said he was going to.
And I think to what Justin said too, like one of my favorite parts about it is it just feels so organic, and just the things that happen you would not.
We lost him again, boys.
Oh my gosh.
I don't. He said things feel organic, which was.
I don't know what's happening. But, I died again. I died.
Yeah, you did.
Dead.
We got to stop meeting like this. I tell you,
the train wreck of an episode, but I love it. What's happening?
But it just
here we go.
It feels so organic because you'll just be you and your squad just running down a road, and then all of a sudden a full squad of people in a Jeep just drop like full speed past you, going to the objective you just took, and you have to go back and fight them, and then hearing people panic whenever a truck with a machine gun on it starts coming down the road because they know you're about to get hosed. It's insane.
It's actually funny that we're talking about this right now, is because my friend just messaged me and said it's Arma time. We got the boys on, so I gotta go. Actually, war is calling. No, I told them I'd be on after, but
I've been drafted.
I've been drafted, boys. But no, it's just a ton of fun. Like I honestly, like, if you would have asked me before I started playing Arma, like what my most hyped upcoming first person shooter was, I'd probably say the next Battlefield. And now it's probably not. It's probably Arma 4. Like it honestly, I think, is broken my brain when it comes to like first person shooters.
I have to check it out. The graphics look good. I just looked it up. The graphics look awesome.
If you do get it, Travis, or if you do download it and play it, do not approach it thinking you're playing Call of Duty or Battlefield.
No, I played other Arma games before.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I played the other ones. I played all the way up to Arma 3. I've just not played this new one.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, check it out. It's awesome. So
I always enjoyed the movement system of those games. They felt super realistic to me.
Yeah. Sorry I spent so much time on Arma. I've also been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I'm very close to beating that. I wanted to over break, but Last of Us and Arma just took up too much of my time. Also, Marvel Rivals, which they just announced, the Fantastic Four, a couple new game modes, a couple new maps coming later this week. I've been watching Dexter: Original Sin. Are either of you watching that?
I'm gonna wait till the season fully is out. Then I'm just gonna binge it.
It's fun. It's fun. Has its problems. Not perfect, but it's fun.
But you're enjoying
I'm convinced, huh?
But you're enjoying it.
Yeah, like I'm convinced no one on that writing staff knows how to write a teenage girl character, because Deb is like straight up terrible. Not the actress, but like just like the writing for her. But like Dexter, the guy who plays Dexter, I was telling my wife this, like, I think he's good. He's not Michael C. Hall good, but he's good. But having Michael C. Hall narrate the show like erases any flaws that he has, because like you're just so in it because he's narrating it. And then the Shrinking finale, which Travis, I think you and I will talk about that again in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it. So for me, I have also, it's only taken me forever, but I am also playing The Last of Us 2. I would say I'm probably, based on what I told you, you think I'm about 60% of the way?
If you just now started with like Mel and the other guy on the truck, you're about 50% of the way.
I was going to say 45, 50. You've got so much more to go.
I'm about 15 and a half hours in, but I've also been exploring everything. So they said the campaign's about 24 hours.
That's a pretty easy game to platinum too. It does require a second playthrough, but I don't think you have to finish it the second time.
Yeah,
you just have to go back and.
So I've been playing that mostly on console, but I've also been playing a lot from my when I'm not at home and I want to play. Like last night, I was actually laying in bed playing on my Portal, so that's been great. And then also watched the Shrinking finale. I've been watching Silo. I've recently gotten into board games. I've been collecting them, but I haven't been actually taking the time to learn how to play them. But over Christmas, my girlfriend, her mom got us because we've been trying to find some good 2-player board games. Seven Wonders, which makes a pretty big board game. They have Seven Wonders Duel, which is a 2-player version of it. We recently figured out how to play that last night, and that has been really fun. You'd like it, Justin. Well, both of you, because you're both big history buffs. Seven Wonders is really cool. Nice. And then obviously we had, since we've recorded last time, we had Christmas and we had New Year's. Did you both have great Christmases and New Year's Eves?
Yes.
Good. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah, mine was great. For Christmas, I was up here in the mountains with my girlfriend and her family. And then on New Year's Eve, I actually spent it in Highlands, North Carolina, which I'd never been to before. So that's where we rang in New Year's, which was pretty cool. Outside of that, I am recently starting a project. I've always wanted to mess with the Raspberry Pi. I've never had one, but I've always wanted to do something with one. So I'm in the process of making a RetroPie is what they call it, which is obviously basically an emulator, but I'm going to try to do some other cool stuff with it. So I'm waiting on my case to come in, which should be here on Thursday, but I already have the Raspberry Pi. I have already managed to take all my thousands of games, like 18,000 games, and convert them to physical to digital, because I own them all. So, it's been a very lengthy project, but, some more to come on that. But evidently there's a way, once you get it done, there's a networking thing. So if you have somebody else that has a Raspberry Pi, you can play old games over the internet together, like Super Nintendo games, 64 games, things like that. So once I figure that out, I will let you boys know. Maybe that's something that we can try to work on together. So, but outside of that, that is all I have been up to. It's good to see you boys. I feel like it's been too long.
It's been at least 2 weeks. So
it is. Yeah. So have any of you been following? Because we're gonna go ahead and pivot into some quick recent news. Have either of you been following any of the stuff at CES by chance?
Just a little
bit.
Yeah. I always love CES. I wish one day I would love to be able to go and actually walk the floors. But a couple of things that I wanted to talk about real quick is so PUBG, which Justin, I think you mentioned last time we were recording, you were getting back into PUBG. Did I make that up in my mind? Or
no, I played a little bit on PC.
Yeah. So NVIDIA obviously had an announcement, and I actually have two pieces of news from NVIDIA. The first one, they announced new graphics cards, their 5000 series cards. NVIDIA unveiled those with their new Blackwell architecture, which is the architecture that has a ton of AI capabilities. They're touting that the RTX 5090 is 2 times the performance of the 4090, enabling 4K up to 240 frames a second with full ray tracing and 32 gigs of DDR7 memory. They also talked about the series includes a 5080, a 5070 Ti, and a 5070, doubling the predecessors from the previous 4000 series models. But not all is great news. A lot of people are there's some people that's pretty upset about the direction they're going. It seems to be they're more focused on the capabilities of AI. They touted when they announced the 5070 that the 5070 actually has the performance, is the same performance as the previous generation 4090. And it's only $550, which is a pretty good deal for that card. But what some people are concerned about is they're touting that a lot of the performances that they're touting is from AI frame generation as opposed to actually real GPU frame generation. So they can claim to have the same performance as some of these previous cards that are much higher end, but it's all because they're making up that gap with AI frame generation, which is, I think, 4 times as much as it used to be. So I'm a fan of frame generation on games that are a little bit over what my card can perform. I like that it can help close the gap, but I don't know necessarily if that needs to be the main form of frame generation when you're gaming. So it's been a little bit of mixed reactions to their announcement. But the cards are supposedly supposed to be available. The 5090 and the 5080 are available starting this month at some point, and then the 5070 Ti and the 5070 will be available, I think, the following month, which would be in February as well. But based on that, the real story that I want to talk about, with PUBG, they are partnering with NVIDIA to introduce the first co-playable character AI partner. So if you want to drop in and you want to do duos, you can actually drop in with a completely AI-generated character. Craft and NVIDIA introduced this, and it's designed to function like a human player. The AI companion can communicate and dynamically adapt to whatever the player's goals and strategies are. And like I said, this is a partnership with NVIDIA ACE Technology, which is a part of their AI division. I do have to ask, what's your all's thoughts with this?
I'd rather just do solos, I think.
Could you imagine saying, let's do duos, baby, and you're just loading with no friends?
Yeah.
The only thing it gets her.
What is? Yeah.
The only thing it gets me is so what's going to happen is it's going to be one of two things. Either it's going to be the crappy AI who can't hit a shot, or it's going
Like
to
a
be
stormtrooper.
the crazy good AI that just beams everybody they come in contact with.
It's going to have a hard time balancing, I think.
Yeah, like I don't think that, because it's either going to be, oh, it hits, they're just going to throw a number out there. Oh, it hits 70% of its shots, or oh, it hits 20% of its shots. Well, now,
Yeah.
like, there's no good way to balance it, because either way, you're just going to get destroyed by a bot.
It'd be cool if it like mimicked and learned from your performance, so it kind of replicated what you did. Now that being said, if you're like a god tier player, do we really want you to have an AI companion
Two of
that
you.
is also a
Yeah.
god tier player?
Or if we're talking about the amount of people who cheat at PUBG right now.
Valid point.
Yeah, so I don't know. I got mixed feelings about it. I think I'm more excited for the AI possibilities of what it will do for NPC characters in story-driven games. Being able to have dynamic experiences with them, interacting with them, even being able to talk to them through your microphone and them reply in different ways. Like that, I'm kind of excited for. But I don't know how I feel about having it be a second character to play duos, though. It also makes me wonder, like, what if I wanted to play through, like, because I know you're going to ask this question later, so I won't get too much into it, but It Takes Two. What if I didn't have a significant other or somebody to play that with? Can I just load in a computer player to play with me? Like, how's that work? You know?
That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's all the news that I had. Just, I imagine this was your story, Justin, because I
It
read
was,
this and I was like, this has to be your story.
Real quick though, while we've been recording, a couple new things from CES have dropped that Travis, I think you particularly will be interested in, which is this Lenovo's worst kept secret. The Lenovo Legion Go S has officially been announced, which is their Steam OS version of the Legion Go handheld PC. And it looks like it has very similar, if not the same specs as the Legion Go, which was probably the beefiest of all the handhelds. Would you?
Hopefully
agree?
battery life, because it's Steam OS, will be better.
It has a better battery life. So that's pretty cool. And then they also gave a small glimpse of the Lenovo Legion 2, which is still a prototype at the moment. But also, while we were doing this, the Steam Deck now officially has full NVIDIA GeForce Now support.
I saw that.
Yeah,
natively. Yeah.
That's cool. So a big day for handhelds as well. Now, if only we could get that one handheld that kind of started it all to announce their successor, we'd all be in business, right?
You talk about the Switch 2 or you talk about the
Switch
PSP?
2, my guy, the Switch 2. Yeah, so this is my story for the day. So I have some good news for your crazy aunts and uncles out there. Meta, the owners of Facebook, are doing away with fact checking on their social media sites. This includes Facebook and Instagram. Now, if you've been on Twitter recently, you know that they've done the same thing, and they've replaced, misleading or inaccurate information with community notes, which have been kind of funny. Some of them have been, but they're going to do the same thing with Facebook. My biggest worry is that we've seen Facebook kind of, and I don't mean any disrespect, but we've seen it already shift to a more older and more maybe vulnerable demographic of people who are a little more vulnerable to buying into misinformation. So I just can't wait for Thanksgiving. I think it's going to be a really good time next Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
I think that doing away with it is a bad idea, although I think they need to revise how they do it. But yeah, I saw that today and I was like, that's absolutely wild. But yeah, what do you all think about that?
I think it's no surprise. I think Facebook's been under a lot of fire for misinformation and stuff like that, which surprises me that this is the direction that they're going. But I also think it's very hard to toe the line between freedom of speech and then also censorship. So we're going to see how it goes. Am I surprised with the announcement and changing of this news based on everything that's happened over at Twitter? No, not really. But with that being said, it'll all be up to the community to keep people in check, which there's already enough community hall monitors at this point now. So what's a few more, right?
Yeah. I'm a little surprised Instagram. I didn't even realize Instagram had a fact checking system. I just kind of thought Instagram was like, oh, hey, here's a dog, or a koala. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really look at Instagram as like this.
Also,
driving
and this is
misinformation.
Yeah, Jared, I'll let you respond, but then I have something else that I learned while I was watching Donald Trump's speech today that I want to make sure that I share. So go ahead, Jared.
Oh gosh.
All I was gonna say is granted, as you said, it's definitely a demographic thing for who typically uses Facebook. But on the flip side of that, it's definitely the other demographic are ones who typically use Instagram. But
the younger folks, is that what you're
yes,
saying? Gotcha.
For
Sorry
anybody,
to anyone that is old or young. We don't mean
to everyone out there, please.
I said with all due respect.
Let this be the reason why. Do not use Facebook and Instagram as your primary source of news, and you will not have a problem with this.
Exactly.
There
right.
it is.
That's not what it was made for, and I hate that that's what it's become. That being said, I did find out that Bin Laden was killed on Twitter like a full hour before the news broke on TV.
We got him.
We got him. Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him.
We got him.
We got him.
Yeah, but no, I was listening. So Donald Trump was doing a speech today, and I just so happened to be in a coffee shop. So as I was putting some podcast notes together, I just put it on because, I always like to listen to see what's going on in the world. And I found out that we are going to take back the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to be called the Gulf of America. So I learned that today. Also learned that we're going to try to make Canada the 51st state. I did not know that was a thing.
It's a big state.
And then I also realized that I found out today that we're taking the Panama Canal back, which was given away by Jimmy Carter, which was probably a bad move. I don't know. But yeah, so those are the three things I learned today. I just wanted to share those.
So
but anyways,
I don't want to talk politics, but I did want to throw a question out here to you guys. So the 435.
Who did you vote for?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was waiting for. I was like, nope.
No, this is a logistics question that I have. So by law, there's 435 representatives in the House of Representatives, and it's broken up by state depending on population. Okay, if we take Canada and make it the 51st state, you're taking a whole country. They're going to have like 200 reps, and we're all going to get screwed. Canada's going to be making our laws, not us.
Can we take Canada as long as we can adopt their healthcare system?
Their prime minister did just step down, so
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that position. Yeah. Well, anyways, I didn't want to bring politics up. I just thought that was interesting because the Gulf of America sounded pretty legit. So
it doesn't have that same ring to it. I don't know.
Does it? Yeah, I don't.
What if we just go Gulf America?
How about that? America.
America's Gulf.
America.
All right. Well, so let's go ahead and get into Jared. We'll start with yours actually, because I really like your topic. So let's go ahead and get into our topics of the week. I think Jared and I have the topics this week. And we'll make sure that Justin brings one next week because, he's only been off work for 19 days. He couldn't have brought a topic to this podcast.
Too much Arma. Arma is way too important. Yeah. It's more important than this podcast.
I like Arma and Arma accessories. Go ahead, Jared.
So in light of some recent weather that Justin and I had here, Travis, this is for you not having to deal with that. But my question to you all is, what is your go-to cozy game that just...
Now, if it's cozy like for us or cozy with your significant other, because those are two different types of cozy, and I don't mean that in a sexual way.
Thank you for the clarification.
Good save. Let's go cozy with your significant other.
I only say that because I've recently got my girlfriend into playing video games, so I've had to find cozy games because that's like her speed and her style. So that's why I was asking.
Let's go both. Let's go like your cozy game that you sit down and play by yourself, and then. So I assume that I'll go first, but I assume most of us are going to share an answer for what we play with. I know Travis and I probably will share this answer for our significant other answer, but for me, the first game I ever got Maddie to play, and that I actually got her to sit down and play for a while. I don't think we ever beat it because I'm pretty sure she got ticked off at a couple things that happened. But It Takes Two is probably one of my...
say Last of Us. I wasn't sure. That's so cozy.
It Takes Two. I had a lot of fun playing with her. The bit we got to play together. I would like to go back and finish it. Maddie, I know you listened to the episode, so let's go back and finish that game.
That's what I actually tried to start with my girlfriend, was It Takes Two. And we got a decent ways into it until we got to the point where the one person had to shoot the nails in the wall. Well, I don't know how far you got, but there's a part where you're... and then the platforming became a little bit too much for her at the time, so we stepped away from it. But I think she's played enough games now. We could probably go back and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Then I mean, if I had to pick a game that like just single player cozy game, it's a lot harder for me to pick that because I can't really just like sit down and play anything. But if I had to pick one, I would probably go Astrobot just because I did start playing that on the recommendation of you all, and
Good
it's
one.
just either that or the Crash Bandicoot remasters.
Game of the year, Astrobot.
The Crash Bandicoot remasters just hold a special place in my heart, and it's just kind of nice to be able to just sit there and.
I'm cutting Travis's mic. Hang on.
Time out. I don't know if you guys took a recent look at Steam's Game of the Year. I don't know if y'all saw what it was.
I did. I did.
All right, since we're going there.
No, we're getting out. No, we don't have to talk about it. I just saw that today.
No, here are the Game of the Year tracker for 2024. Astrobot has 104. Rebirth has 37. Balatro 28. Good job, Balatro. Metaphor has 25. Black Myth comes in at 5 with 22.
Okay, that's fair.
And
all right,
okay, it also breaks down the readers' choices. Astrobot has 14 Reader's Choice Awards. Rebirth has 8. Black Myth has 10.
Okay, that's fair. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Jared. I keep derailing you. Let's go because we got we got to go shortly. So,
I just gave both my answers.
Okay.
I'll give mine. Mine would be Animal Crossing. Really, any game call in the Animal Crossing. We'll call it a saga. But I love them. The last one was it New Horizons was the name of it, I think. Or yeah, it came out during the pandemic. It was like the perfect time for that kind of game. We were all stuck at home, and put a lot of time into it. I put a lot of time into all of them, really. But I think Animal Crossing is my go-to cozy game.
That's a good one. So for me, I was gonna say Animal Crossing, but I would also have to say Stardew Valley. I think is a really good one as well.
Ooh, that's a good call.
I would also say Trading Card Simulator for me is kind of cozy. It can be stressful at times, but but it just makes me feel good because it's just mindless fun. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty good. I'm also trying to think. Outside of that, I would have to say Ori and the Blind Forest. Even though it's kind of like a darker game at times, I think that's a pretty cozy game. And then one game that I've always really liked that I don't think a lot of people know about or talk about. And we have them all on Steam because I bought them. So if you haven't played them, you should try them. But the Trine series on Steam, if you've never played the Trine games, they're like side-scrolling games. I think they're even up to 3-player co-op. Really fun. Those are really good too. But outside of that, I'm trying to think. I mean, I have a ton of cozy game recommendations, but we'll leave those for a different time. But yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I'm also trying to think of more cozy games I can get into. So we should honestly share some ideas. If y'all come across a cozy game, you should definitely share it. Also, any listeners.
I've got one, but I forget the name of it, so I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I apologize.
Go ahead, dip off,
Jared. I know this isn't very professional of me, but I apologize. I have prior engagements, and they've started early, so I apologize, gents.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and drop off. Justin and I'll wrap up. It's the least we can do since we have to wrap up for
kicking
Justin.
us off the show, though, because it's going to boot us off, right?
No. He should just go and turn his camera off and leave.
So wait, what? Just do that?
Here. I'll just hide you on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, mute yourself and there, you're gone. He's gone. He's out of here.
He's out of here.
Any other, do you play any games with your significant other, with your partner at all? Does she play games?
She's not a big gamer.
Does that disappoint you in the slightest?
I'm gonna have to trade her in, I think. No, it's fine.
Not even Animal Crossing?
She does like Animal. We play a lot of Animal Crossing. We used to play a lot of it together. We haven't lately, but
did she listen to the episodes by chance?
No, God, no, she doesn't listen to this.
So do you think, I'll ask this question then. Do you think if Taylor Swift came out and said, you know what? I'm starting my own video game studio and it's going to be nothing but cozy games with cats. Do you think she'd be down?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just wondering.
I'm looking at this game that I bought and I can't remember the name of it.
There's also a game called Unpacking, which is really fun. Literally you pack and move and you unpack and design rooms. That's what it is. And it's very delightful.
I've got it. I've got 3 recommendations for you here. Okay.
Let's hear it, dog. Yeah.
Bloomtown, A Different Story. It's by the people who did Graveyard Keeper. It's really good. Luma Island is awesome. Highly recommend
Okay.
trying that one out. And Travis, I think Final Fantasy 14.
Ooh, good choice.
Great choice. Yeah.
I need to actually. I still haven't played the story of the newest expansion yet.
It's really good, man.
No, the newest patch. I played the newest. I played the first chunk, but yeah,
7.1?
since the patch. Yeah, I have not played that. Also need to get a house. I'm ready.
Yeah, hop on over to my server. I'll give you some money.
Oh yes, Daddy. Thank you.
But
But one of my favorite cozy games back in the day used to be on the DS. It was called. You probably don't remember it. Did you play the DS a lot?
I don't know if I'd say a lot, but I played it.
So there used to be this RPG called Fantasy Life.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
I heard of that.
your character could be tons of different classes. You could be a hunter, you could be a fisherman, you could be like, you weren't bound by like, you pick a class, you play it through the whole thing. You could actually level up each one. I really, really liked that game. It was kind of like top-down Zelda style, had the graphics of kind of like almost like Animal Crossing. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
But
That's kind of how Luma Island is, though. Like, you go to this town, like, you basically pick your job. Like, you can be like the
really?
town's brewer or the fisherman or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay.
We
All right,
have it on our Steam family.
Oh, well, I shall be checking that out.
Yes.
All right. So this came up, this topic came up, my question came up actually last night. I was talking to my girlfriend because she randomly stumbled upon an article talking about, even though, Spider-Man 2, like, I didn't realize how big budgets were for video games, and how a lot of times, even though if the game is a critical success, because the budgets are so big, they don't make enough money back to, like even with the success of Spider-Man 2, right? They ended up still laying off people from that studio because it didn't make enough money, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason that these budgets are so big is mostly because of graphics, like graphical fidelity and things like that. So we got to talking about, like, she asked me legitimately, we were having a conversation about gaming, which is, she started, which I thought was interesting in itself, but she said, how important are graphics to you when playing a video game? I was like, well, in the beginning, I would think they used to be super important to me, but anymore, like, I would never trade fidelity over gameplay for me personally. So, the question that I had was, how important are graphics in a gaming experience for you? And another reason I thought of this question, right, is you said you just played through The Last of Us 2. How many times have you played through that game? This is no judgment. I'm just asking. Is this the second time?
I've played through 2 times completely, 2.5 times, like, total.
Okay. And Last of Us 1, you've played through the same amount?
I think that was it.
I guess what I'm asking is, every time it's been remastered, the graphical fidelity has been improved. Is that when you've replayed through those games?
Technically, yeah. Okay.
Now, what is the reasoning behind that? Was it because you wanted to re-experience it, or you wanted to re-experience the best version of that game because...
So I can actually tell you, and this is gonna.
This isn't a gotcha question.
Well,
so
no, I know.
Yeah,
I know. So I literally only booted up The Last of Us Part 1 again because I just got the PS5 Pro and I wanted to take it for a spin. And then next thing you knew, I was playing through both games. That's also the same reason I re-downloaded.
That's because they grabbed you.
They did. They grabbed me. That being said, I think The Last of Us Part 2 especially was a game that did not need a remaster on the PS5. It was basically a PS5 game anyway. It came out at the very end of the PS4's life. Well, months before the 5 actually came out. But yeah, I definitely did jump in because of that. That being said, I also go back and play older games that haven't been remastered. So yeah, I definitely am with you. I would take.
Do you have a cutoff? Do you have a cutoff of how old of a game you'll go back to play? Like I tried to. Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like for instance, like, did you play Knights of the Old Republic back in the day?
Yeah.
Would you go back and replay that, as old as it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one for me. It honestly comes down to, does the gameplay feel bad? And I think
like Mass Effect, for instance, right?
I was about to say Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 feels bad, looks good, feels bad.
Yeah.
But I think Knights of the Old Republic's gameplay has aged pretty gracefully. I mean, it's pretty much a turn-based situation. I think Final Fantasy VII, the OG, is just fine. It's a turn-based game. Had that been like an action RPG, it probably wouldn't have held up as well. I think games like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, those all hold up. But there are some games you pick up, especially I'm trying to think of one. Oh, I have an example, and I haven't played it. I don't think it's out yet, but Jedi Power Battles. They're remaking that. They're remastering it for PS5.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a game that came out around the time of the prequel movies. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that game got bad reviews when it came out. And I think when I played it, I thought it felt bad then. So I have zero interest in picking this game up.
Is this was it episode 1 Jedi Powers? Yeah.
Jedi Power Battles. Yeah, they're remastering it. Now it's going to have online multiplayer, I think, and some new features. I might try it out. The gameplay is better. But I remember thinking when this game came out and I played it, this kind of sucks.
And it didn't always work out well. I mean, if you think about the remaster, the re-release of Battlefront games, you know what I mean? It's that was mostly network issues, right?
The GTA remaster, the trilogy.
Oh yeah,
it got canned. Yeah,
yeah. I think for me, it really depends on, like, to your point, like, does the gameplay, is it compelling enough, and is the story compelling enough, to stand on its own? You know what I mean? Because there's plenty of games that look great. Like I think about that game that came out and tanked. It was the
Suicide
EA
Squad
game? Yeah, that. But I'm also talking about the BioWare game that came out and tanked.
Anthem.
It was Anthem. Yeah, like fidelity, it looked great, but gameplay wise and story and stuff like that was just not great. So for me, especially, like, I find that, like, here recently, it feels like I'm enjoying a lot more indie titles and titles that aren't coming from AAA studios more so than I am some of the other games. Now, that's not to say, I know we didn't really get into it because you said we couldn't really talk about it because I wasn't far enough into Last of Us 2. But I will say, because I never played that game. So just like the Mass Effect games, I'm playing the best version of that game.
You are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will say, though, it looks incredible. It's probably one of the best looking games I've played.
So spoiler alert, the
graphics isn't the problem.
And I was going to say the part where it's right when you're at the theater and Abby confronts Ellie in the theater, right at the end of the first half of the game, right? And the facial acting with Abby, like, saying, "I let you live and you wasted it," and then it cuts and you go to the next part of the game. Man, they could not have even, like, LA Noire couldn't pull that off, and that their whole thing was facial animations. Like, it's insane just how good it is now. And it is funny. I've said this whole time, I've said gameplay over graphics. But I do think one of my most requested, like, games are remakes. I want to see a SOCOM 2, but that's more or less to keep the franchise alive. I would love to see an Ocarina of Time remake within the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild engine. But that's more or less just to kind of, like, keep that game alive. That game hasn't really been fully remastered.
Yeah, that, and also, like, getting to experience that game again, almost like it's the first time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I get that. Yeah, I know.
I'd love a GoldenEye remastered. But now GoldenEye is a game that I think actually, like, still looks pretty good considering how old it is. Like, it doesn't look great, but, like, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't play that well.
No, I'm honestly pretty excited for the new Perfect Dark. I'm pretty excited about that. But also, like, I think the thing for me is too, it's like, I'm really excited for the new Fable as well. I'm hoping that it gets released this year. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Then obviously GTA, you think we're going to see GTA this year?
I hope.
I think it'll be, you said you hope or nope?
I hope.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that was just my question because, like, I thought it was funny because, like, she talked about that, and then I was starting to think through playing about The Last of Us, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the second or third time Justin's played through this game, and I'm willing to bet it's because he got that new PlayStation Pro and whatnot.
I mean, I would have gone back and played it again at some point, but I was motivated to because I got the PS5 Pro.
Did they PS5 Pro enhance any of the Uncharted games yet? They haven't, have they?
I don't know.
4 maybe? Maybe 4. Yeah. Those games I love. Those games are great too. So
you played Indiana Jones? I can't remember.
A little bit. I haven't went back to it yet because I'm trying to finish The Last of Us 2, and then I'm going to move on to that game.
Sure.
Last question, because I don't know. I mean, we've definitely talked about it, but I don't know if we talked about it in great detail. Is what was your thoughts on the trailer for the new upcoming Naughty Dog game? Because I don't know if we've talked about it.
I don't know if we talked about it either. I mean, I'm not a big cinematic trailer guy. I want to see gameplay before I get hyped. However, Naughty Dog kind of has a free pass for me. I know that they're going to make a game that feels good and plays good. And they typically are good at creating characters that I care about, a story and a world that I care about. So I have zero worries or concerns. I think it'll be great. I think sci-fi for them is a little, I mean,
it's different, but it's so different.
Yeah. I think it'll be great. I just, I would have liked to have seen The Last of Us Part 3 or something instead, but yeah. I missed and the fact that we,
it's still being made, I assume, right?
Well, they haven't even officially I think he said he has developed an idea for it, but I don't think it's
without spoilers though. Could they just end it on 2, or did they leave it open?
They could end it on 2. They could have ended it on 1.
Theoretically, yeah. I am very curious, without really getting into it, I am very curious how they're going to handle the next season of The Last of Us 2. Or the second season of The Last of Us, because I think what's going to happen is, I'm not going to spoil it, but obviously we know what happens within the first 2 hours of The Last of Us 2. I wonder if it's going to start there, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like a flash forward or flashback, and then you're going to see all the events leading up to that point. I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen, almost like they'll play the flashbacks that you get in the game. Those will be the first part, and it'll end. You know what I mean? I don't know if they'll be able to do it that way, but
I think you're going to get a lot of people who never played the game that are going to review bomb season 2.
Oh yeah, I could see that 100%.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Also, you've got the whole Ellie Dina relationship. People will review bomb that.
Because I know that you said that you have very strong feelings about The Last of Us 2, and that is fine. And you're not alone in that. A lot of people love that game, but I think there's also a lot of people that enjoy the first one over the second one.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you think that's because of the direction the story went within the first 2 hours? Do you think that's the biggest reason?
Yeah, and the trailers for the second one, if I remember correctly, were misleading.
Yeah, because they were seeing a lot of flashbacks of set characters, so they thought set character was throughout the entire game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I also don't like the second half of the game where you...
I will say the big thing I do like about The Last of Us 2 is it's different than the first in the sense that the first Last of Us, you are just playing through with very few flashbacks. With this one, you're playing through a lot of flashbacks leading up to the beginning of, and I like that. I think it's a different enough approach. You know what I mean? Because you're well, what happened in these 4 years? And they're kind of filling that gap along the way. And plus Seattle, as an environment, just really sold me. It's a really cool environment, especially the scene where I'm in the boat and I'm going down the thing. It's pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, it's pretty cool.
I might play it again. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into we'll have to just say what Jared's picks of the week were, but let's go ahead and get into what we're looking ahead for. I mean, obviously you've been off for so many days. I don't know really what you have to look forward to.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually put down, I said I've been off work for 19 days and I have nothing else to look forward to except for my next vacation, but also Severance.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'm probably going to try to come home sometime in February, so I'm looking forward to that. Depending on if we actually decide to go to Comic-Con in March, I may push it back to come home in March. So it just depends on if we decide to do that. We need to really figure out if that's something we want to do, because if so, we can get an Airbnb in Lexington.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool. And then we could just do an episode from the Comic-Con.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to say, what I've been up to is I'm about 75% of the way through Wicked. I haven't finished yet. I got about an hour left. So I'll finish that today.
How long is that movie?
Oh, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes or almost 3 hours.
Okay, you can't do percentages then. You said you're 75% of the way through and you have an hour left. That's a 4-hour movie. I was
Yeah,
just like, what the heck?
it feels so much. It feels so much longer, to be
Do you
honest.
not
No, I
like
think
it?
it is a. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, no,
But I
you
don't.
didn't.
I didn't know anything about the play, so I'm not like a truist. So maybe that's why. I also just realized my name reset back to Justin,
It
which
did.
is
I
funny.
realized that.
It's Jared's fault. It's always his fault, and he'll listen to this and know it's
Let's
his fault.
let's
But
throw him back
anyways,
in the stream and unmute his mic and turn his camera on and see what he's doing. Let's get a live look at Jared hanging that TV up.
with no pants on. Anyways, yeah. So for me, like I said, looking forward to coming home after the holidays, which will be fun. Trying to think of what else. I don't really
Severance?
trying to think. Yeah, Severance. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be watching that by myself because that's not my girlfriend's bag. Also looking forward to April when Last of Us comes back. Looking forward to finishing Last of Us 2. And then after that, I think, like I said, I'm going to move on to Indiana Jones probably. So looking forward to that as well. They did just announce, you're not going to care about this at all, but there was an old racing game back on the PS2 days that I used to play called Tokyo Extreme Racing, which I know sounds super cheesy, but it's one of those racing games where you're on the interstate, you flash your lights, and you end up racing that person. It was just a real fun arcade racer. Well, anyways, they had just announced that they are coming out with a new game on Steam, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool.
Also, I have bought a game called on Steam called Tailspire. Tailspire, for those of you that don't know, it is a game that allows you to build your own virtual world for D&D campaigns. So when you go to play through it, you have your tokens and you're playing through an actual, it almost turns your D&D campaigns into almost like a video game like experience. Nice. So I'm going to be messing with that, trying to figure out how to build some worlds. Also, I'm going to try to figure out how to do DMing, because I've always wanted to do a D&D campaign, but I can never get involved with anybody that's ever doing one. So I'm just going to try to do my own campaign. So I'm going to try to do that and then go from there. But outside of that, that's really about all I'm looking forward to. What do you have in the way of, because we've talked about a lot, what do we have in the way of your, actually, do you got 10 more minutes?
Yeah. What's up?
Let's do a mystery question of the week,
Okay.
baby.
All right.
Because Jared's not here. I was debating if you want to do one, but I got my list pulled up.
Right.
Go ahead and pick a random number between. I'm going to shorten the amount of numbers you have. So between 1 and 30, and don't say 30, don't say 1. You son of a bitch.
15.
Okay.
Split the dick.
Oh, this goes right along with Jared's question, but it's different. So, okay. What's your favorite comfort movie?
Ooh, movie, that's tough.
That you can just, like, if you're feeling kind of down, for you, it's not internal sunshine of a spotless mind, because that's a pretty dark movie, isn't it?
It is. It's probably going to be just the Star Wars original trilogy, any movie in the OT. I mean,
oh, now you mean like the prequels as well, or no?
No, just the original trilogy. Just throw one of those on. Nice rainy day.
For me, honestly, probably any movies, like a lot of movies from the 80s, but mostly like Back to the Future, Goonies, anything that just strikes a sense of like nostalgia to my childhood is kind of comforting to me. So anything in that, and then oddly enough, like some 90s old movies we used to watch as kids, like Little Giants.
Yeah.
I love
that movie.
It's so underrated. My girlfriend and I just watched it like a month or two ago, and I was like, God, I forgot how good this movie is. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like anything that I would have watched as a kid, like during the 90s too, would have been one. And then also Ninja Turtle 90s Saturday morning cartoons, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, those type of things as well. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get these picks of the week so you can get called to war, okay?
All right.
I know you're waiting to go to war, baby. So what's your pick of the week, my dude? And I'm going to look at what you sent me. I'm so excited.
I said that because I mentioned Star Wars and someone on Instagram said it's like Yoda on Luke's back.
That can't be the real face he's making, right?
That's from USA Today.
I'm going to share this real quick. Go ahead. Keep talking.
On the screen here or what?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm gonna die. So my pick, I have two picks. One of them's Dexter Original Sin. Like I said, the show is not perfect. However, if you are invested in the Dexter universe, it is 100% worth watching. Michael C. Hall as Dexter's inner voice comes back, and it's just a fun ride. I'm having a good time. And then also Arma Reforger, which I've talked enough about. No need for me to
I'm gonna try this.
You should, yeah, absolutely. The Arma Reforger is incredible. It requires a lot of patience, so it's gonna, just
the controls are pretty complex for that game, if I remember right.
They are crazy complex, and imagine playing on a controller. Like, it's just insane. But it's a lot of fun. So those are my picks. Do we want to read Jared's picks or save them?
No, I'll read them here in a second. But even though you can't spell remaster, anyways, does it play pretty? Does it play pretty well on PlayStation? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. And so whether you have a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, it has performance and fidelity options. Regardless, fidelity on both is 30 frames, performance is 60 frames. But on the Pro, you get 1440p resolution on performance, and you get 1080p on the PS5.
So to circle back around to our
Travis, because we are brothers and we live in the same house, you can also download the PS5 version.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, bring it back around to the quality conversation. When it comes to fidelity or performance, which one are you?
Almost always performance, especially in a multiplayer game.
But like a story-driven single-player game?
It depends, man. If it's like 30 frames, that's sometimes hard to look at. I actually booted up Final Fantasy 16 when I got the Pro to see if it had any updates. And man, it was just like, so it felt so choppy on fidelity mode. So almost always.
I'll tell you what. So let me ask you this: what's the best looking, in your opinion, from what you've played of the enhanced PS5 catalog? What do you think the best looking game is right now on PlayStation Pro from what you've played?
I think it is the Last of Us series.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see why you feel that way. I would be curious to know.
Too, though.
Yeah, that's good. And they've also updated. Did they update one of the Horizon games to be PS5 Pro enhanced? I want to say Forbidden West. I think
the first one got a remaster at the same time. So
okay.
And then I think Forbidden West does have an update.
Yeah, which those are games I'd like to go back. I never played more than an hour of the first one.
Pretty good.
So I'd like to get all right. So for Jared, he said his picks of the week were Balatro and Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remastered. I guess actually was just recently released, which I think he mentioned that he has bought on Steam. So as a family, we get to share that. But yeah, so I'll have to check that out because I haven't played it.
Hang on real quick. So since he called me out on my Black Myth Wukong playthrough time, he's played 0.3 hours of Star Wars Bounty Hunter on Steam.
Oh, well, didn't it just come out?
Yeah, but it's his pick of the week.
Oh, well, that's fair, I guess. If you're listening, Jared, he's calling you out, baby.
You've been called out. You've been sufficiently called out.
So for me, Seven Wonders Duel board game. Do you and your partner play board games at all? Or is it mostly ones you can all play together with like your son as well?
That's usually where we're at.
Okay, well that makes sense. But I was gonna say, if you're interested in just you two playing or teaching your son how to play it, I would highly recommend it. If you wanted to do a themed version, though, they do have a Lord of the Rings dual version as well that plays the same way, but it's in Middle Earth as opposed to just the Seven Wonders or whatnot.
Nice.
So would highly recommend that. It's super fun. The games are usually you can play in about 30 minutes a piece. Very strategic. It's very good. But also the Shrinking finale. Now that Jared's here, I guess it's a perfect time for us to talk about what we thought of the Shrinking finale. If you have watched Shrinking and you're not caught up, I would probably just go ahead and cut out right now. But what did you think of the Shrinking finale? I thought it was an emotional roller coaster. I thought the finale was probably the strongest episode of the season, probably, I would say.
I would agree.
And Harrison Ford just continues to make me a believer. I just was not a huge Harrison Ford fan going into this show.
You weren't?
Not right out the gate. No, just because.
Oh, you mean like his character in the show?
Yeah.
I was just like, Harrison Ford's pretty untouchable, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. but his character just continues to just be one of my favorite. I would say the last 10 minutes of that show, the
Oh
finale
yeah.
was it was a roller coaster. Harrison Ford's like vulnerability and his speech at the end about the importance of the people around him and stuff. It's like so much not on brand for his character. You can kind of start to see he's like, for lack of a better expression, he's like an onion. You're kind of starting to see him peel back a little bit.
Yeah.
He's always like so guarded and brash, but to see him in a much vulnerable state, like I was kind of upset that at the Golden Globes, shrinking didn't seem to do much of anything, which I was super surprised by. I'm hoping at the Emmys that maybe it does better, but the
They are
fact that like,
combined at the Golden Globes. They should be, I think,
yeah,
separated. Yeah.
well, yeah, but even then, like I think Jeremy Allen still won out for the Bear over Jason Segel or anybody from like I don't think
He may not though at the Emmys. I feel like season 3 of The Bear wasn't as well received. I think. I mean, I think it's
yeah.
anyone's game at the Emmys.
Yeah, but I know that I think Harrison Ford and Jason Segel are in the same category together, so that's going to be kind of wild to see who wins that out. But what did you think of the overall finale? I just know the last thing I'll say is I want Brett Goldstein in more things.
Yeah, I need him in a lot.
I don't
of
want him
things.
everywhere that I'm sick of him, but anything that he's done that I've seen him in, I went back and watched some old British movie that he's in called Super Bob, where he plays a superhero that's
He
just
wrote
like an
that, I believe,
average.
didn't he?
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
he's so good, and I've
he
also been
is.
listening a lot lately to his podcast as well, because
It's
I just
great.
want more Brett Goldstein. But yeah, what do you think?
He was on the Fake Doctors Real Friends podcast a few weeks ago, and they talked to him and they kept trying to like pry Marvel news out of him, and he wouldn't say like, "Look at his arms, he's jacked. He's clearly ready for this Marvel role." So we'll
Was he
see
supposed
what
to be
comes.
Hercules still that they never did anything with?
Who knows? I mean, I would say
Yeah,
he will show up at some point, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, him as Lewis was great. That final moment with him and Jimmy at the train station was very emotional. Um, he's just like such a great actor, and yeah, I'm with you. I want to see him in more stuff.
yeah, yeah. The only thing that I was slightly let down by was, and I don't even know if I really want to get into it, but the reaction from his friend at the end about finding out what he had done.
Yeah,
I thought
I
the
agree with
I
you.
thought the I thought the writing there was a little bit lazy because, like, number one, like that guy was working at the coffee shop when Alice came in to confront him about it all. So how did he not know by that point already? And they seemed super tight and super close that I wouldn't have thought that would have been something that would have happened. But outside of that, I thought the episode was great. I also was not expecting it to be Jimmy that showed up at the end. And I was like super emotional about how that all unfolded. Just like the fact that he just sit there on that bench, because that's clearly was an important place for him to be, because that's what he did with his significant other before obviously the accident. And Jimmy's just like, talking about what this person's life might be. It was just a very touching moment. I just thought it was a really good finale. It
Absolutely.
does make me kind of curious though, like, where do we go from here? You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
so I forget. Bill Lawrence broke down. It's supposed to be 3 seasons, and like, I forget how he labeled each one, but the third one's gonna be about moving on.
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
Okay, that'll be good.
I think it was like grief, acceptance, and then moving on, or something like that, were the 3
well,
themes of each season.
that's a cool concept, especially because the show deals with therapy and just like the process of moving on. So that's
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add, my guy?
I do not.
All right. Well, until next time, I want to thank everyone for listening in or watching. We'll be back next week with a new episode. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas for new episodes, new topics, feel free to drop those below. And don't forget to like and review us and share them with your friends. So until next time, peace.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Nerds with Mics. If you enjoyed today's deep dive into all things nerdy, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please make sure not to forget to leave us a review wherever you listen or watch. Your feedback always helps us grow. And if you know a fellow nerd that would love the show, share it with them. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay awesome, and keep those mics on.